what would touch me is say that I should be happy inside no matter what is happening outside or what the situation is outside. And so, just 1 minute, something disturbing my screen. Okay. And so I thought you have a experience in the spiritual, you are very experienced in your spiritual life for many years. And if you could share one of your experiences or more that could help us to maintain that inner stability or inner happiness and contentment, no matter what is happening. And what I would pose, how by being open to being open to things that are coming to me, when I'm open, how the things do come at the right time. I don't know if I'm clear. If not, I can repeat something. That's one idea. If I'm open, well, I won't leave it a law of attraction now, but if I'm walking life and I'm open to things, I'm aware that things, or they sometimes say universe will send you, but they'll come at the right time and then help me to be or to maintain that my inner stability.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Brother Mirko. Lovely to be on Rise and Shine this morning with you all. Yes, this is a very nice a subject that you've opened, Brother Mirko. You know, looking back over the years, I came to the absolute conclusion that the universe is extremely benevolent. That, sometimes we say, oh, everything seems to be against me. But it requires us to perhaps sometimes look a little bit more deeply, because it's true, we do face big challenges, and they seem to be increasing by the day. That is the reality. But at the same time, there is this very benevolent energy, we could say, that is relentless in helping us to come back to our state of wholeness. We could say to be fully healed, whether it's body, but in particular, the spirit, the soul. And I remember a time, it's quite a long time ago now, and I was going through quite a big challenge with the physical body, but it was having quite an impact on the emotional, the inner being as well. Quite challenging, lots of old emotions erupting within. And I kept noticing from time to time that certain things would happen that would seem very small, but actually they have a big long-term impact and a big lift to help the soul get through this challenge. I remember the first one. I was in London at the time and physically not well. Someone came up to me in a BK gathering, and she said very quietly, she said, "I've been through your experience, and this book helped me, and I want you to have it." And she gave me a little book. And, at the time, I didn't pay much attention because so many people, they have good intentions. They want to help you. But in time, that little book, which I would never even have looked at in a bookshop, it was so simple. And it became an enormous help to me to help myself to work through some of the things that I was experiencing. And you know, I've never seen that person again. I don't know how she looked. I don't know her name, nothing. So I can't even thank her. But it was one of those little magical moments that come along. And I'll just relate perhaps one more. That year, that same year when there were all these challenges, I spent most of my time in my bed. And I fortunately had a lovely view out of the window. And one day, looking out at the window, I saw a young woman, and she was doing Tai Chi in the garden. And it was like watching a flow of energy, like music. It was like music watching her. It was very, very beautiful. And clearly she was very talented. And it really gave me a lift. But a few days later, I bumped into her in the center. And I said, "Oh, I was watching you. And it was so beautiful." And I said, "But you know, I'm looking for someone who can teach me Qigong. I want to learn Qigong." And she looked at me, she said, "I'm a Qigong instructor." Look at that, you know, such a beautiful moment of magic again. And what transpired is that even though I was extremely weak at that time, she started to teach me very gently, very slowly. Every morning she would come and she would teach me Qigong. And slowly but surely, it was one of the greatest contributing factors to helping me to get my strength back. And she became a good friend, but she came and she did that service for me with so much love. And well, you know, you don't forget something like that. It stays with you. So your question about being open. And so sometimes when we're going through something very challenging, sometimes we are so focused on the pain, the difficulty, etc., that we can easily miss these little magical moments that are there actually to support us and to uplift us. And I think that looking back, it is this commitment to my spiritual effort, to my daily meditation, you know, to perhaps in the evening checking my consciousness. Where was it in the day? These are like investments in our spiritual journey. And I do believe that it's that energy of commitment that then actually invokes what we need in challenging times, in difficult times. And this benevolent energy of the universe, it shows up for us. And I'm sure our participants today can think of moments in their own lives when this was really true.
Okay,
So back
wonderful.
to you, Mother. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. I've got another question. Can I ask another question? Now, for you it worked, but I got many other commitments beside the commitment which I'm not 100% sure that would bring or come into my life to take me out. But I've got too many or many other commitments, and now some kind of advice. Well, I know it. I should prioritize, but I cannot. I've got this to do, that to do, and that, and I just many things pulling me. But I also know somewhere back of my subconsciousness that there is something right. So would you be able to tell us something about that? How can I get myself off of that? Today in our teaching was a chains, free myself of these chains, but I would be lighter, committed of these all commitments.
Yes. Yesterday I was with someone, and we were, doing the meditation course. And when I asked her, how's the meditation going? She looked down, she said, I haven't meditated since I last saw you. So that was about 5 days, right? So I looked at her and I said, imagine if you hadn't brushed your teeth for 5 days. And she looked at me with a horrified look. And I said, yeah. I said, that's how committed we are to taking care of our teeth. And I said, what about this inner world? This busyness you're talking about, Brother Mirko, we have this very strong tendency of doing. And it pulls us. It is so powerful that, sometimes we sit down, and if there's nothing else to do, we pick up the phone, check the phone, respond immediately to some message that's not even urgent. So we see within ourselves this absolute knee-jerk reaction to being in action. But actually, it's the inaction. When I'm not in action, that is the precious time. Because the investment in that time, even if it's 10 minutes, is going to have such a huge impact on all those things that I have to do that are lined up for me even before my feet are on the ground when I get out of bed. The mind is already busy with its to-do list. And what's behind that is this sense, not even consciously, that doing is creating my sense of self. And actually, it's not the truth. It creates a whole lot of labels that I can put on myself for the external world. But it is my time in stillness, in silence, that is the true investment. Let me at least put a few cents in that investment every single day. And that's when I will start to see that, yes, I still do everything that I need to do, but the addiction starts to break so that I can pause in between, take time out for the self, maybe just to smell the daisies, as they say, or see the daisies. And that is what will really create this value for our lives, actually. Is that helpful?
Thank you. Yes, of course, for me is helpful. But I heard actually I did ask, I'm always asking, I want to find out it. Ask somebody, what is the most difficult thing in the world? You know what the answer you won't believe, or anybody will. He said, sit down and do nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this is where I would put that, where you say 5 minutes invest, or you said a sense, to invest at least some time into that, doing nothing. Okay, mind is also doing, but physically doing nothing. So now I took that out. That is most difficult. It's not the most difficult. Sit down and, well, mind will run here and there, but eventually, I had a beautiful experience. Just listening to this commentary, more meditation, was 10 minutes, but it's just brought me back to my senses. I was back before that. Oh. And so, yes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, if not, everyone can afford that in a day. And that also helps them to, well, our topic for this month, so what's the immunity of the soul? Okay, so we still got 5 minutes. So I think for the true experience for now, good. But I'm interested that book that you received, and it's wonderful to have that. How even physical activity helps, like qigong. Always wanted to know qigong, but you know. Somehow did not come my way that I would have that time. But about that book, did you have a good insight what you need to do and you put it into practice?
Yes, as I mentioned, this book, it wouldn't draw your attention in a bookshop at all. And it had a very simple title. It was called Getting Well Again. Now, the physical condition that this body was going through was actually cancer, and that book was actually for people going through cancer. But I'll share one exercise that was in that book. It said, make a list of all the benefits of being sick. And when I read that, I was very sick, and I thought, these people are mad. How can there be any benefits in being sick? And then I thought, okay, they are asking this question. Let me take pen and paper and see if I can find any benefit in being sick. So I sat and thought for a while, and then a thought came to my mind, and I wrote the first thing down, and it was, I get to rest as much as I want.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then there were a few other things came to my mind. For example, I don't have to deal with difficult people. So that was another benefit. But the second part of the exercise, they said, look at the benefit and then ask yourself the question, what is the belief behind it? So that was very interesting. So I took the first one, that I get to rest as much as I want. And I thought, what is the belief? And I was shocked at the realization, because it was that the belief is, I have to be sick before I can rest. And
that's discovery.
Yeah. And I think many of us, we don't give ourselves time out. And it comes back to this addiction to action, that somehow my sense of self-worth is based on the actions I perform. And so it was a huge wake up for me that I never allowed myself to rest, because my sense of self-worth was from my actions. And it's an ego, actually, in reality. And so I went about really crunching that ego and getting rid of thoughts like, what will people think? And, just really putting the self first. Because I realized that, if I'm healthy in mind and in soul and body, then I benefit, but everybody else benefits as well. So that was a big realization.
Just looking at the time, our time is up. So thank you, Sister Belinda, for this wonderful practical or a practical experience that can be, I'm definitely taking benefit that our participants, anyone who is listening, can take a benefit or use it, some of these advices or some of these tips into their practical. I'm saying these days, I don't know, maybe get that practical life. I might have all the knowledge here. I know how to make it, let me say something complicated, Christmas cake. I might know it theoretically, but if I never made it, there is not practice, I will not know it. So this is why I'm repeating again, something of the knowledge, something that experience of others that I can use or experiment and see. And of course, what I've told, not to be the doer all the time. We have to do action, but I take lots of benefit. I did that, but if it's not me who say, hello, well done, I'm expecting it from others, and that gives me good feeling. And so that is taking the way I see it, your self-worth of the action. So more of that, more going inside and, asking yourself these questions that helps me to realize myself. Thanks very much once again, and looking forward. We'll see you. We're going here next month. Rise and Shine is also going, so we'll see you again.
Thank you so much. Thanks, brother. Thanks, everyone.